How's everybody doing this afternoon? Good. I'm glad to see a full house. My name is Justin Butler. I'm director of the Associates of Fine Arts Music degree program here at Caldwell Community College, and I want to welcome everyone to our concert this afternoon. This is our third concert in our Performing Artist Concert Series, featuring Dr. Shawn Roberts and his wonderful ensemble that he's going to tell you more about. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to please turn off your electronic devices, your cell phones, your pagers, if you have a flashback from the 80s. We want to silence any electronic devices so that the audience and the performers can all enjoy the performance. And without any further delay, I'll go ahead and get started.
In case you weren't awake after lunch. Okay, I'm going to try not to say much. I did write some program notes, not much lighting here, but I will take time to introduce an ensemble that I brought. Justin asked me to give a wider range of stuff from around the world that I happen to know. So I brought an African ensemble and dear friends with me, so I'll bring them out now to help me with this traditional West African piece. Josh Upchurch, Jeff Dickens, Lindsay Scarborough, Ken France, and Cindy Taylor. so djembe, you've probably seen in drum circles. Doon-doons, again, it's all in the notes if you want. I'd rather play some music than talk much, but you may be curious about this instrument. This is called bala, or balafone. Bala means the instrument and to play it. It's, at least this one's from Conakry, Guinea in West Africa. It is tuned to all the white keys on the piano. Right? Okay. Real hardwood, khaji is what it's called, on pieces of wood and some bamboo for the slats. And then we have this for amplification, which are little gourds. And the trick is to find them so they're not too big or too small. And they're the same pitch as they are here, which means it vibrates at the same frequency. And normally these buzz as well. And you can look at this after if there's time. There's a little piece over the holes, but most kids that I've seen come up and go, very first thing, and poke most of mine out. However, this is the grandfather to this much larger instrument here called the marimba. This came across the Atlantic during the slave trade from Africa, was played in secret for quite a while, but eventually started to formulate and people were playing it. It's really popular in Belize, in Guatemala, and parts of Mexico. If you're a fan of the show Survivor, I forget what season it was, but when they were in Guatemala, you heard this every episode, so I remember that one well. But we have a much larger, less portable instrument now. Two Europeans saw this design and said, oh, hey, how about we make this a diatonic now instead of just these notes. Now we've got the chromatic pitches as well. We also have these things called resonators now, so that the note sings for a lot longer on top of it. And it's also a softer wood called rosewood, which you'll also find on guitars. Common now to play it with 4 mallets, which I'll do now, and some people as many as 6 mallets, but I'm not nearly that daring. So we'll jump across the sea again over to Japan, other than Belize and Guatemala, where the resonators are still pieces of wood and still have a buzzing sound. Japan, and actually you'll see I've got mine raised on pieces of PVC pipe, mainly because the design is for the Japanese, who are generally much shorter than we are, so I had to elevate mine just a bit. But I'll play a piece called Memories of the Seashore for any of those who are on spring break or awaiting it and are ready for the beach. Right, this piece is for you, and it's by Keiko Abe, probably one of the most famous marimbas, at least of my time. to an instrument you're probably more familiar with, the snare drum. And again, I asked you to read the notes. It actually was an Arabic instrument first, a hand drum that you would play. I have one made out of dog skin. I didn't bring it down. It doesn't like the wet weather and the tendons from it. And when you play it with your hands, it buzzes. And so similarly here, I have a drum, and they eventually moved it to a military and took it from the hands and made it bigger so you could play it with sticks. Right? And still has skin on the bottom. This one has cow skin and cat gut for the snare. So without it, it sounds like this, and when I activate it, you get this sort of buzz. This particular one comes from the 1940s. The United States began putting these in schools in bands, and right after World War II, made a whole bunch of these notes. So it's one of the oldest ones I've got. But I'll play a contemporary solo in the Swiss rudimental style that it was taught hundreds of years ago. guess that might have been a celebratory song for the bringing of spring, right? Happy spring. Dangmame have 2 seasons, a dry season for a long time. They're just south of the Saharan Desert, somewhat in there, and one rainy season if they're lucky. So it's a song of invocation for the rain, or if you're in Boone, where I'm headed back, snow, I guess. And a drum also from Arabic traditions, closer to the davul, and something you might see from those traditions, but a little more portable, right? Dangmame got to go where the water is, so all their stuff they can pick up and leave instantly, but same concept, right? Well, I'm ready for a breather. So we're going to move to India and meditate. Now this piece is written for drum set. However, I won't be playing rock and roll on it at the moment. We'll see what happens. But it's written by a fantastic percussionist by the name of Russell Hartenberg with the Nexus Percussion Group. He's taught at Toronto for many years and may even be retired. Had the pleasure of meeting him, and just a super nice guy. But he studied with Raman Raghavan at Wesleyan University, studying tabla and mridangam, which are the hand drums of the Indian tradition, which you devote yourself to. You can practice 12 hours a day, typically, if you're a true devotee. So I always say I'm going to wait until retirement, right, when I'm a little more settled down, and then I might pick up tabla. But he did write a solo based on what's called tala, which are rhythmic cycles. And you vocalize. For me to learn what I played on the drum set, I use combinations of takadimi, takita, taringina tam. So if this is the beat, which I'll keep in my feet, right? Takadimi, takita, takita, takadimi, taringina tam, takadimi, takita, 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 takadimi ta, and stuff like that over top. Now, I've incorporated my own little touch. Along with tala, you have what's called a raga, which are a singing tradition. In our Western traditions, if you learn scales, you usually learn 12 major scales and 12 minor scales. Well, there's over 600 different types of ragas. The tuning systems, in other words, the waves per second, are a little bit different in India than we have here as well. So I'm going to choose Raga Bhairav, which is one I've been studying. Now the one I usually focus on happens in the morning around 9 or 10 a.m. They're specific to the time of day. And there's a Hindu god called Shiva, who is a great builder of things, but also a great destroyer of things. And he's usually destroying things because it's a lot more fun to tear stuff down sometimes, right? And normally you're in fear of Shiva, but in the morning time, he's pretty chill. You know, he gets up, he likes to read the newspaper, right? Or get on Instagram and drink a cup of coffee and chill for a minute. But there's always that moment of something sinister might happen, so that's in this as well. So I'm going to begin with, typically, there's an instrument that plays at least 2, sometimes 3 important pitches of the scale, or what they call the Bilawa theta. And in this one, I'll just play it for you on marimba for a moment. So here's a major scale. Played that earlier. This one is. Okay. The 2 pitches that I'll play are this and this, which as far as frequencies are concerned, if I play this note, that vibrates at a certain frequency per second, and this one will go 4 times as fast over top of that. So I'll let you listen to that, and then I'll show you how to breathe along with it, and we'll play the piece. Now I'm using the modern instrument of the iPhone for this. $2 app on here, which you can tune it however you want to. So I have this one tuned to the just instonation, as it's called in the West, which is much closer to the natural vibrations that Indians use. So you'll hear a high pitch oscillating with a lower pitch. So what we'll try to do, and I will do it as well, is exhale on the higher pitch and inhale on the lower pitch. So it should slow down your breathing quite a bit. There is some overlap as well, so there's some room, right, if you need to take some extra breaths. So we'll start there. I'll sing Raga Bhairav over top, and then we'll delve into Russell Hardenberg's Ragavan for drum set. So big breath in, again ready to breathe out. Hey. namaste, which means I recognize the God in me and I recognize the God in you. Let's see, I think we've got time for one more. It'll be our exit music. I like to blend all of these styles in a genre called world music. All right, have all these fun toys in the basement, so it's always fun to have people over to play with them. So this one's hot off the presses. We learned a little bit of it last night, and we're going to try it today. So it's very loose and some improvisation, but it's called Varuna, which is the Hindu god of the second chakra, if you are into that. And he rides an alligator, right, with a long fish's tail behind him. So this is for Varuna and his alligator. Now, it's in a meter of 5, which is a little different than what we're used to. But if you follow the drum set, that might be the simplest way to be able to count to 5 over top. And then I'll play a melody, and we'll do a little improvisation into that. So thank you for coming. I'll be here for the next 4 hours, probably cleaning up and packing. So if you have any questions, I'd love to talk to you after. And thank you to Justin Butler as well for putting on this evening. This is Varuna and his Marakar. All right, there we go. Again, friends, this is Starbucks.